Welcome to the Curb Ramp Design 5 video. In this video, we're going to be creating cross-section alignments that will provide us with the 3D aspect and control that we need for our ADA tolerances. I firmly believe that the cross-section alignments are critical to being able to visualize and verify that we have met the ADA design tolerances that are required. In this video, we're going to be creating all of the cross-section alignments that you'll need moving forward. For example, we'll create the cross-section at our begin-end construction lines. We'll also create the BC and EC cross-sections, and we're going to be creating the begin and end landing lines, just tentative ones. And then I think in this video, we're going to be creating the back of sidewalk and the T-curb and back curb as well. We were talking about this in an earlier video. I wanted to get the BC and EC lines, cross-section lines in first before I attempted to fix the back of sidewalk to be able to transition the back of sidewalk from the existing sidewalk to our new back of sidewalk. So let's get into it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to zoom into the alignments area because that's what we're going to be working on in this video. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit the flow line alignment, and we're going to look at some of the stations here. So the stations here are the begin station is at 19 plus 90, 58. The BC's at 20 plus 00. The EC's at 20 plus 31, 80. And the end construction is at 20 plus 42, 13. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a point on each side of these lines. We're going to connect those points, and that's going to be our cross-section line. So we're going to create an alignment based on that line. So what we're going to do is we have to have that flow line selected. So the line that we're coming off of, which is our control line, is this flow line. So we're going to have that selected. We're going to come up here to the Home tab. We're going to create we're going to use the point creation tools on this create ground data palette. Point creation tools. We're going to go to the create points dash alignments selection. We're going to hit station offset. And this box just asks you what profile you want to come up with. We don't really care about the elevation for what we're doing. So I'm just going to hit OK and just accept none as the default. So this little toolbox will open when you do that. And what we want to do is come to this third one and go to station offset. And it's going to ask us to select the alignment again. So we're going to do that. Make sure you hit your flow line, none. So now we're going to snap to the end here. If it'll let me, there we go, end point. And we're going to type in, it says specify an offset. We're going to type in 15 and then enter a point name. So I'm just going to call this begin construction plus 15. And then it's going to ask me to specify an elevation. I don't want to specify an elevation. I'm just going to hit OK. And then I'm going to snap at that point again. So I've got the endpoint snap. I'm going to left click. And then it's under specify offset. I'm going to say negative 15 now. And then enter. And then it says enter point name. Well, this is begin construction. And it's minus 15. And then no point elevation. So enter. Now we're going to zoom out. I'm going to hit escape a few times. We're going to zoom out. And we're going to look. So now we have 1 point here and 1 point here. And it's 15 foot in each direction from the flow line. So I'm going to hit escape. And I'm going to draw a line between those 2 points. You don't have to do this. You can go directly to creating an alignment if you'd like. I'm just going to kind of show you what this line is going to look like. So we're going to go down here and type L, enter in the command bar. It says specify the first point. So we're going to need to adjust the snaps here. So I'm going to come over to the snaps. I'm going to hit the little drop down box, and I want to turn the node snap on because these little points have a node, and that's what we want to snap to. You can also do some other ones, a parent, intersection, and center, and you'll probably get the same thing. but I'm just going to select node because I know that's what it is. So I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to come over here and select the node. You're going to see that pop up. I'm going to left click. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do the same thing here. So node, I'm going to select it and then I'm going to hit enter. So now we have a line. That purple line is our cross-section line. Although it's not in alignment, we need it to be in alignment to actually be able to see what's going on. So I'm going to escape out of this. And I'm going to come up here to the Home tab under Create Design. I'm going to go to Alignment Creation Tools. I'm going to type L13, R2, underbar. I'm going to call this Begin Construction. You can call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter as long as it's meaningful to you. I'm going to change this to a miscellaneous alignment. I'm going to accept all the other defaults and I'm going to hit OK. Now it's going to bring this toolbox up. We want to use this tool right here, Fix Line 2 Points again. Now we've already got our node snap on, so it should snap to that node. See, node. And then I'm going to do it again up here. Enter. Okay, so now we've got our alignment there. That's our Begin Construction alignment. And I'm going to do the same for the EC, the BC, the EC, and the End Construction. So I'm going to kind of go through this fast. So we're going to select the flow line again. Home tab, point creation, create ground data, point creation tools. We're going to create points, dash alignments, station offset, accept the none. Okay, this one we're going to snap to the endpoint. We're going to do plus 15. So that's 20 plus 0, 0 plus 15. Enter. I don't care about the elevation. So I'm going to re-snap on that point. Minus 15. Enter. And then 20 plus 0, 0. Minus 15. Enter. Elevation I don't care about. Okay, so now I'm gonna go straight to the alignment this time. So I'm gonna go to the Home tab, Create Design, Alignment Creation Tools. I'm gonna call this one my BC because that's what it is. It's still miscellaneous. That's good. Hit OK. We're gonna go to our Fixed Line 2 Points. We're gonna snap to our node again. I'm gonna go up here, snap to our node. Enter. So now we have our BC line in there. Now we're going to close that. We're going to come back to the Home tab, Create Ground Data, Point Creation Tools, Alignments, Station Offset. We're going to select our alignment here. Okay, we're going to snap to that point. Yeah, it doesn't like that. So sometimes you have to zoom in a little farther. Okay, and then 15, enter. So we're going to look at that. So it's 20 plus 3180 plus 15, no elevation. We're going to go back and snap to that point again. And we're going to go negative 15, enter. 20 plus 3180 minus 15, enter, no elevation. Okay, so we're going to escape out of the tool again. We're going to close that down. We're going to go to the Home tab, Create Design, Alignment Creation Tools. Now we're going to call this the EC. Miscellaneous, OK. Fix Line 2 Points. We're going to snap to the node again. And if you can tell, I'm kind of doing this uniform where I come from the outside and go to the back of the sidewalk. So all of these lines are going the same direction. If you kind of move the lines around, it gets really confusing to kind of try to see what's going on in the profile views. So try to stay, if you're going to come from the inside out, then stay consistent. Usually I go from the outside in. It's just my preference. You can do whatever you'd like. But you'll notice I'm staying consistent with the direction I'm drawing these lines in. So we're going to do the end construction line here, last point for right now. We're going to go to Home tab, Point Creation Tools, Alignments. Okay, and then we're going to snap to that, plus 15. We're going to do end construction, plus 15, no elevation. Snap to that point again, minus 15, end construction, minus 15, enter again, and then we've got our points out there, so let's escape. We're going to do alignment creation tools again. We're going to call this end construction. Okay. And then fix line 2 point. So we're going to do the node snap to the node snap, enter. Okay, so now we have all of our cross-section lines that we're going to start with. So right now, I think it's a great time to try to adjust that BC to the existing sidewalk. So you can come up here and go to the Caltrans tab. We're going to go to this miscellaneous tools, and we're going to turn on CT enable XREF data tips. So we're going to just kind of mouse and hover over this. And so this is our sidewalk, and this secondary line is our, secondary line is the dirt, so it's the existing ground. So we're going to want to snap the sidewalk to this green line here. Let's go look at this side. So this should be the sidewalk line here. It is. Okay. So it's kind of a good thing to have a point to snap to. So we're going to go to line. We're going to create a line. And we're going to find a snap along here. It looks like the nearest is turned on. Let me get rid of that for a minute. Let's actually snap to a point on this line. Doesn't. Okay. Let's turn the nearest back on. It seems like it's pretty far away. So we're going to snap to that. So now we're also going to snap along. Just going to nearest along here. So now we've got an intersection point where we can snap on that. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to do a line. So these are just temporary lines that enable us to snap to something that we know we're snapping to the actual sidewalk, existing sidewalk. So there we go. We've got each side set up so that we've got that snap point. And let's turn the intersection snap on, parent intersection, and then the intersection snap's already on. So let's collapse that. Now we're going to adjust the back of sidewalk. So when we select the back of sidewalk, what we're doing is we're selecting an offset alignment. We can't adjust an offset alignment because by default it's offsetting from some other place. So what we need to do is change the type of alignment it is. So we're going to, once we select that, we can come up here to the alignment properties, and then we're going to change this from offset. We're going to change this to a miscellaneous. By doing that, it enables us to change the PIs and the shape of that line. So we're going to hit apply and OK. Now we need to escape out of that and reselect it. It needs to regenerate for some reason for that tool to be active. So we're going to hit the line again. We're going to come to Geometry Editor, and you'll notice now this is active. So we're going to take this point right here, and we're going to move it to that intersection point that we created. Enter. Okay. So now we've transitioned that sidewalk back to where the sidewalk actually is. And then we're going to do the same thing on the end construction line. So we're going to grab this last one, and we're going to come, wow, that doesn't look right. We need to fix that. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that line. We're going to delete it. We're going to try to draw it again. So let's go here and here. So that looks no good either. Oh, we have a snap right there. Okay. So, whoops. Something happened there. There we go. So let's come back out here. We're going to move this line. We're going to try to get that on the actual line. There we go. Enter. Okay, so now we can, if you want, you can erase these lines. It's up to you. I try to get them out of there. It's just kind of messy. They're just temporary lines that enable us to snap to that stuff. See, we didn't do a good job over here either, so we're going to redo that one. So line, I'm going to do this again. See, that's the problem. See, the purple line isn't on the green line, so let's figure out where these are. So we're going to move this. Okay. So now we've got our back of sidewalk finished up for the most part. So let's create that surface profile. Since we've already done that in the previous video, we're going to add drawn profile view. We're going to accept the defaults here. Again, remember to give yourself the 20 feet of elevation working room. We're going to change the label style to standard. Okay, hit create profile view, and then we're going to stack it just like we did in the previous video. We're going to move that one up. And now we're going to create the top of curb and the back of curb based on our new back of sidewalk. So we're going to select the back of sidewalk line because that's going to be our control line for the retaining curb, right? So we want it to mirror this one. So we're going to go offset alignment, and I'm going to change this completely because if I put underbar T curb, it's going to take this whole thing and then add T curb. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to erase the whole thing, and I'm going to go L13R2 underbar T curb. That's what I want to see. And so there's no offsets on the right here. Everything's going to be on the left side from the back of the sidewalk. So the T curb is going to be at 100th. I'm going to hit OK. And you really have to zoom in to see that. So you'll see that's the new T curb line. So I'm going to escape out of that. I'm going to hit the back of sidewalk line again. So now we're going to create the back of curb. So we're going to hit offset alignment again. I'm going to call this back curb, so BK curb. And then it's on the left, and then we want half a foot, and we're going to hit OK. So we're going to zoom out, and you're going to see that that came in. It's right here. See? Okay, so now we've got our cross-section line set up, and we've also got our back of sidewalk, T curb, and back curb set up, so we're retaining curb. The one other line that I'm going to put in right now, I'm going to attempt to put in the landing lines for our blended transition. So I'm going to try to go with a 20-foot entrance area at the flow line and see how that works with our ramps and things. So I'm going to try. These are just temporary or tentative lines. Remember, design is an iterative process. So I'm going to try this one at 20 plus 05. So I'm going to hit the flow line, and I'm going to create 2 points outside that so we can get our cross-section line at that point. So remember, we're going to go to the Home tab, create ground data, point creation tools, create points alignment, station offset, hit OK. And then I'm going to type in 2005. I want plus 15. So I'm going to call it enter point name 20 plus 05 plus 15, enter. I don't care about the elevation. And then I'm going to do 2005 again, minus 15, 20 plus 05 minus 15, and then no elevation again. And then I'm going to do the other side as well. So I'm going to do 20 plus 25. Let's just do that. Enter. Plus 15. So 20 plus 25 plus 15. And then no elevation. And then 20, 25 minus 15. 20 plus 25 minus 15, enter, and no elevation, enter. So now we've got our point set up. Let's set up our alignments. So I'm going to come back to the Home tab, create design palette, alignment creation tools. We're going to call this Begland, and I'm okay with the station starting at 0. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to go to fixed line 2 points. I'm going to come out here, snap to the node, snap to the node again, enter, the enter key. Okay, so we've got a Begland in there. Look, that's really short, so I'm a little worried about that, but we'll look at it. And then we're going to go to alignment creation tools again, and we're going to call this end land. So we're going to hit OK, and now we're going to create the end landing based on the other 2 points that I created. So we're going to come over here at 20 plus 25 and node snap to that one. Whoops. Node. And then we're going to find the other one. There it is. And we're going to node snap to that. Enter. And we've created our landing lines. So I think that's all I wanted to cover in this video. In the next video, we're going to go over creating the profile views and the existing ground profiles for these, and we're going to get started with the actual design, with the design profiles very soon. See you in the next video.